Can you see that?
Yeah. Got it.
All right. Well, hello, and welcome. This is Trish Ajel Roberts, and this is the very first Mind Blowing Happiness podcast bonus episode. So today's format will be our usual recorded conversation. And since we have a few guests, we'll take some questions at the end. My guest today is my very first African chief, Alpha Omega Owusu from Ghana. And, you know, the way we say out here is that's his government name. So he asked me to call him by his chief name, which is Nana Kwabena Mensah. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
All right. So you were introduced to me by one of my book coaching clients, and she is a physician out of New York City. And I know that you work in public health in New York as well. You're the founder of the Alpha Health Group and a candidate for your PhD in public health. So my first question for you is, can you tell us a little bit about your backstory? How does one become a chief in Ghana?
So before you can become a chief, you have to be in the lineage. And most Ghanaian lineage comes from the maternal lineage, that is from your mother's side. So I happen to, from my mother's side, I happened to get the opportunity when it came through the lineage, and I was chosen as a chief. So when it happens like that, they will come to the family. Because the family tree is not only one person, so it comes from other maternal lineage, and then they will look how your behavior and all that before they can choose you as a king or a chief.
So when I first spoke to my client, her name is Maureen, by the way, Maureen Beverly, because I know she's going to listen to this later. So I'll give her a shout out. So when I spoke to her the first time, she kept telling me you were a prince. She was like, he's an African prince. So is it the same thing to be a chief and to be a prince?
So prince is from the English language, a prince, it's somebody who is born by a king.
Right.
But I am not born by a king, but it falls through my lineage, and that is why I became a chief.
So does that mean that when people talk about African princes, that is really not the right language, because prince is not, or at least for Ghana, prince is not a term that Ghana would use?
So people can name their children prince, depending on how the person cherished the son and other ways. So I can give birth and I'll call my child, my boy, a prince or a princess. That is when you say in it from how you want to see your child, or you want whether you are rich and something like that. But when it comes to the maternal lineage of kinship, that is different. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's not, so it could be a name, which it can be here as well.
Correct.
But it wouldn't really be, I guess it wouldn't really be a title unless you had a kingdom.
Yes. So for example, Nigerians, when the father is a king, then automatically his children, the men will be called prince and the women will be called princess. So, and it depends. And again, when you come from, you leave that side of where somebody is coming from, that kinship family, and giving that name. Outside, if somebody is rich, whether rich or not rich, the person can call their son or their daughters princess and prince. So it depends.
Right.
How, yeah.
So one of the things that I loved about going to Ghana was learning about African culture.
Correct.
And, you know, in the US, I think one of the local people said, the U.S. raised you. We're raised in this U.S. culture, and in our culture, we have all these like Disney princes, and little girls want to be Cinderella. So that kind of prince idea or narrative is something that you hear often. But thank you for getting us straight on chief versus prince. The other thing I wanted to ask you, I know that you live in New York. How often do you go back and forth between New York and Ghana?
So I got installed just this January. So it's like close to 9 months that I got installed as a king, as a chief. And so I was in Ghana in December.
I heard that Freudian slip, the king. I liked it.
Yeah, I was in Ghana December through January, and I came back, I think February, and because there was this Ojura festival, and it has not been celebrated like they do celebrate it, but my paramount chief, which the paramount chief for all the Akuapem states, the 17 states, was installed 6 years ago, and this was his first time that he was going to be installed, no, not installed, but being in the celebrating the Ojura festival properly. So I had to go back and do the celebration or be part of the celebration. And the thing is, my chieftaincy falls in 2 towns. So I had to be there for these 2 occasions. So for the first time that I was installed as a chief, I have been in Ghana twice this year. But I'm going to see how it will go by this subsequent years to come.
Okay. So you were installed, you said January?
January 3rd that I was installed.
And then you grew up in Ghana. How long were you there before you moved to the US?
Yeah, so I came to United States in 2012. And all this while I was in Ghana, part in Ghana, and I've been traveling a lot. I went to China, I went to Korea, I went to a couple of countries, then I came back to Ghana. So if I should say 100%, I've lived like 70% my life in Ghana, and the other 30% that is traveling. But coming to America, I came to America 2012.
Okay. So that's more than I realized. And I love that you said coming to America, because I was joking with him before, saying that, Black people in the US, when we think of Africa, we think of coming to America, and we think of Wakanda. We think of Black Panther, like that's 2, or maybe Lion King. I guess there's a few, but coming to America was definitely a big one. So today our topic is, let's talk about Blaxit. And if you have not heard that term before, you may have heard the term Brexit, which was a term used when Britain decided to leave the European Union. And now the term Blaxit is being used for Black people deciding to exit these United States or some other Western countries and go to live in environments that might be more welcoming. So it could be places like Ghana, also places like Costa Rica, Panama, Belize, Mexico, Portugal, even Colombia are all popular. And I read an article in the LA Times today that said the current exodus of Black Americans from the US is the largest since the early 1900s, when artists like Josephine Baker and James Baldwin left for Europe. So James Baldwin left in 1948, and he's quoted as saying, "Nothing worse would happen to me there than had already happened to me here." So it's interesting, because back in those days, people were moving to Europe. Black Americans were moving to Europe. And now you don't have to move to a predominantly white country to have all the amenities that you're accustomed to at home. So I wanted to ask you, Chief Alpha, I'll call you, Can you talk a little bit about your experience as a Black man in the US versus as a Black man in Africa? How does that shift feel for you? Because there you're a chief, and when you come here, you're, I guess, a regular guy, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
It's very, very interesting. And before I move on, I'll use this opportunity because I know, come what may, my paramount chief, who I pay homage to, by name Osiadeyo Kwesi Ekufu III. Wherever you are, he is in America right now. I say good evening, and I say good evening to all the chiefs, the paramount chiefs, the kings that I pay homage to. Again, this goes to my paramount chief, Osiadeyo Kwesi Ekufu III. And thank you very much for the question. So it is very, very interesting. And I wish one day, as time goes on, we will get the opportunity and we will experience this as time goes on. So in Ghana, when you are a chief in my area, which is descends to all areas, you are really, really, you have a lot of people coming to you, giving that respect. You cannot walk alone by yourself. You cannot drive by yourself. When you go in, there are people around you protecting you. And so it's quite different. And when you come here is America, freedom everywhere. And just that, how I see is that it helps me here to be more careful. Although the freedom is here, I cannot do anything like going here and there to tarnish the image or have any stigma coming against my my position as a chief in Ghana. So to me, it stands the same because I want to make sure there wouldn't be anything, because I represent my people, Ghana, and my people and my paramount chief here in America. And therefore, I use that as a guide. So the difference are there. You go somewhere, you will not be recognized. But then amongst my siblings, my family, and how I go out and how I comport myself, I don't see the shift too much. So that's how I will explain it.
I think that's so interesting. I didn't, that's not the answer I expected, because for me, the shift feels really different.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I was raised here. So when I'm in the US, I know I've been in many spaces where I'm not welcome, where I get the look, and I'm a woman too, I'm not just Black, I'm also a woman, but I've been in many spaces where I've gone into a room and I got the look, like, or even restaurants, depending on the type of environments I'm in, probably more when I was doing more corporate work than now, the work that I do now. But I could feel the shift when I was in Ghana. And maybe you're used to that feeling.
Yeah.
But for me, like walking into places where they seemed really happy that I was there was just so different.
Actually,
than,
Ghanaians
even traveling
are
in the
very,
States,
very, Ghanaians are very, very accepting. And that is part of Ghana culture. When they see you that you are a foreigner, hey, they would want to come close. They would want to do everything that will make you happy. So that is a credit in Ghana, and that is our culture, depending on anywhere that you go. So that is it. But when I come here, like I said, last week I went for a funeral, again, in the Ghanaian society. When you are announced as a chief, there's also that respect given. But like I said, I use it as a guide, and therefore the life that I lead here and back in Ghana, I want to make sure I represent, and I represent very well.
You have to behave yourself when you are here.
Yeah, exactly.
But now there's technology, there could be video everywhere, right?
Exactly.
So, I have a note here, and I'm going to share this with you. it was just talking about when my plane landed in Ghana, and I got, on the ground, you walk outside, just feeling like I could breathe. Like there was just an energetic shift for me that I could breathe. And I made a note here because it reminded me of a previous marriage that was not great because it was previous, right? And I remember when we separated, and I was thinking, how do I feel? It was almost like somebody's hitting you over the head every day with a frying pan, and then they stop, you know? So it's not necessarily like you felt like, oh, this glorious whatever. It was like the oppression stopped, the oppression, that feeling of control or oppression was lifted. So I have a few questions for you about relocating to Ghana, and then we'll see if anybody else has questions for you. Does that sound good? I'm going to ask you a few. You
No,
ready?
that's fine. I'm ready.
All right. So first, for people who are thinking about moving to Ghana, like me, I would love to live there at least a few months out of the year, if not the full year. I may not be ready for that yet. But for people who are thinking about either living in Ghana or staying there for an extended period of time, maybe retiring in Ghana, like what would you suggest as maybe the first thing or the first few things they should think about?
So the first thing is when you go into any country, you have to get your visa. So you get your visa here. And when you have the intention of going to stay Ghana for a longer time, definitely you have to go through the Ministry of Interior, and their guidelines are there to follow to get a permanent resident. And from permanent residency, then you can move on to become a citizen. Yeah. And I think I don't know the exact, but I think you have to, if you want to be a citizen, I think we have two options. When one of your parents should be from Ghana, and another one is probably you would have to stay there for 7 years, having other properties and all that. Then you go through, get your permanent resident, and you move on to, after I think 7 years, and the last year you have to be there 12 months. And the guidelines are there from Ministry of Interior, and you go through that, you'll be able to get your citizenship or your permanent residence. So it's quite flexible, but you have to follow the policies and the laws of the country. And I think it's clear there.
So let me ask this. So when I went there, I had a single-use visa, right? Okay. I think you had to complete, I feel like it expired after 3 months, but it was a single-use visa. Some of the other people who attended had a multi-use visa. So if you want to stay, do you just get a regular traveler's visa? And then when you get there, you tell them that you want to stay and have it extended? Or is that something that you do in advance?
Yeah, I think the multiple visa is 5 years. That is, then you can go and come and you have extension that you can do. And the single one is when you go and you have to come back and you go in again, then you have to apply. But I'm not very, very sure of, and I believe it's not that stringent. So if you want to stay and you have the multiple, you go, you apply through the Ministry of Interior, and you can get your extension. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I hope you guys are taking notes. And as you know, I have a cousin who was with us when we were there at the beginning of the year, and she's been living in Ghana for 26 years. She raised her children there, and she finally got her citizenship, not because it takes 26 years, but I think that she just had not made that decision to apply for it. She was already a permanent resident. So let's see. So we talked about the first thing to do. We talked about visa. How does healthcare work in Ghana?
So healthcare has gone through a period of change, and that is pre-colonial era and the post-colonial era. That's now it's less than 5% per research, and it is out there, less than 5% GPD being spent or allocated for healthcare. And therefore, there are a lot of challenges. Even, for example, in my area, which is something that I'm even embarking on, and trying to see how, as a chief, through my paramount chief, Osiadeyo Nanakwesi Akufo-Addo, to make sure the community have a better healthcare. So, to give a little bit story about it, the pre-colonial era was being advised by traditional herbalists, and the post-colonial came by with government intervention and through other government regimes. Now they have the National Health Insurance Scheme that is trying to take care of all the citizens. So yes, there are challenges, and rural areas, a lot of challenges. They have this cheap compound healthcare, and still there are a lot of things that need to be done. There are a lot of improvement that need. There are a lot of opportunities that need to be taken care of out there. So that is the healthcare system down there.
So it sounds like they're on the path to trying to have universal health care. But in the meantime, like if people from the US move to Ghana, what do they do for healthcare? Is it out of pocket, or
Yes.
does the government provide anything?
So when you go to Ghana, and since you don't have their national ID card, that is the National Health Insurance card, yes, you would have to pay out of pocket, unless
So
probably.
do you get that when you become a citizen, the national ID card?
Yes, you get
Okay.
that. But again, I am a Ghanaian, but a Ghanaian American, but I would say a lot of things need to be done when it comes to healthcare in Ghana. That one is a fact. I mean, regardless, and I will not say.
We want the truth. So this is
Yeah,
good.
it's the truth. It's the truth. Listen, as a central sterile technician, or sorry, director and a healthcare leader, I went there, and I want this to go out there for them to know, because sometimes we need to, somebody have to say something for some people to do whatever they have to do, right? I had the opportunity to do assessment in the surgical area, and it was really, really bad that some of the hospitals.
What area did you say? It sounded like Senegal. I want to make sure I understand you.
Yeah, I said I had the opportunity to do health assessment in some areas. I'm not going to make mention of it. Yeah, but it was really bad that the government would have to, any means to have to give more attention to it. And that is why my paramount chief, Osiadeyo Akufo-Addo, the third, has taken it upon himself and his kinship to make sure his area, the 17 towns state, will have a quality healthcare. So yes, there are opportunities. Yes, there are more things to be done when it comes to healthcare.
And you keep saying paramount chief. What exactly does that mean? Is that just, that's your chief, but does paramount mean something in particular?
So for example, we have 16 regions. Here they will say states, right? We have 16 regions, and these 16 regions have municipalities. So for example, the Eastern region have other towns in the Eastern region. Now the Eastern region, where I come from, I'm just giving an example of where I come from. So where I come from the Akuapem side of the Eastern region, which is from, let's say, from the airport, if there's no traffic, it's like 20-25 minutes. So this Akuapem area has 17 towns. So these 17 towns, we have a chief who oversees all these 17 towns. So when I say paramount chief, then I'm referring to my paramount chief, who is referred to as the Royal Majesty of that 17 towns. And these 17
so it's like that
towns
region.
also, these 17 towns also, each town has their chief, but they all pay homage to the paramount chief.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. And it makes sense that the name is paramount because it's kind of like the chief above the chiefs, right?
Correct.
Okay, so my next question for you is for people who are thinking about renting or leasing in Ghana. I know when we were there, we learned that you don't really purchase property or purchase land the way that you do in the US. It's more of a lease that kind of expires and can be renewed. Can you talk a little bit about how one might want to go about that?
Yeah, so if you want a land, you would have to go to, so in Ghana, the lands are owned by clans, the natives, and the chief. Every land in Ghana, let's take, for example, my area, which is 17 towns. The 17 towns, all the land in the 17 town is for the paramount chief. That being said, the paramount chief has chiefs of each town, and each of these towns, the chief also have authority. And in the town, they have natives also in the town that also have lands. But even if the natives who have the land, when they are selling the land, which they don't sell completely, they lease. So you can lease to about, the maximum is 99 years. So you lease, then you will have to pay some money. Then after the 99 years, then you renew it. So that is how it goes. So it is not sold like it's being sold in America,
Right.
but per the laws and the statutory understanding and bylaws of Ghana, we do lease, but we don't sell completely for ownership. So we lease, then after years, then you can, let's say you lease it for 50 years. So after 50 years, you have to make sure you get your indenture, you register the land. It's very, very important. Here, people get off guard. When you get the land, you would have to get the land from the right source, get your indenture, check the land if nobody is occupying it and it is the right occupancy who is selling it to you. Then after that, you get a code for the land. Now, after that, you get it ready, your site plan, check if everything is okay, then you get your indenture, then you register the land. Registration is very, very important. You have to register the land with Land Commission to make sure you are the owner who has leased the land. It's very, very important. People buy the land, get indenture, they don't get all signatories, it doesn't get registered, and they think it's registered. And somewhere along the line, you see that somebody will go and sell it to another person, then it becomes litigancy. So it's very, very important to know this. So you get the land from the right owner, you have to go and do a search, official search. You know that the official search will come out that the land is for this particular person. It is not sold by anybody. It is the rightful owner who you are getting it from. Then you lease it, you get it documented, you get your indenture. Then after that, you register the land in your name as a leasee. It's very, very important.
So when you have land transactions in Ghana, there is no attorney involved. You have to go through
there is an attorney. There is an attorney at the lands commission. So the attorney appends their signature on it. But you would have to make an official search to make sure the land is for the rightful person that you are buying from. And I would always say that you have to be more cautious. That is, I will stress on that. Anybody who is going into Ghana, whether through you or through myself or through anybody, yes, the properties are there, but you have to make sure that you're getting the land from the right person, you're getting it registered, you get a search, official search, to make sure. You see that I'm stressing on the official search.
I
To make
see.
sure, yeah, because it's something that I'm very, very particular about it. Official search, you see that it's from the right person, then you get the code to it, then you, by signing or signatories coming on it, then you register the land in your name at Lands Commission. It's very, very important. Very, very important.
And do you have property tax once you lease property in Ghana?
Yes, property tax are there, but it is not like America. Property tax are there. Yeah, it's not as expensive as America. Yes, you have property tax.
Okay. I have another question. So you talked about purchasing. What about like if somebody just wanted to rent a house or rent an apartment, you know?
Yeah, now there are a lot of apartments out there, legitimate apartments. So it's also easy. Some of them you pay a cash out front. Some of them they make arrangement for you to pay. And even I wanted to discuss with you, I have a very good friend of mine that has this estates, that he is an estate developer. And also in my area where I come from, also we have estate developers there. And also we have a lot vast of land that anybody who wants to do investment in any other way can contact you through me. We can make something happen. So yes, acquiring house, rent, or buying house is also easy when you go through the right channel, those developers, the right licensed developers. That is easy to get.
Okay. Yeah. So listen, this is probably my fourth conversation with you so far. So we're building our relationship as well as my other connections in Ghana. So I appreciate you giving us some of that right information. And one of the things that we spoke about is for this next trip to Ghana, that on the last day, we'll have the opportunity to look at some properties, whether they're rental properties or land or houses. That those details have not been all worked out yet. I know you have your friend there, and I would love to go see, you know, your area out there, but we'll figure it out. I think the exciting part is just this idea of being able to get a little bit more information, you know, to see if, you know, maybe retirement or maybe have some place to visit, whatever that might look like. But the next question I'm going to ask you is about businesses in Ghana. So the group that I took at the beginning of the year, we had the opportunity to go to some just really wonderful businesses when we were there. Some, you know, that were started by African Americans. There was a nonprofit, I think more than one nonprofit, I'm trying to remember now. But I wanted to get your thoughts on how easy or difficult it is to start a business in Ghana and what is involved.
Yeah, so business in Ghana, registering business in Ghana, also you have to go through Office of the Registrar of Companies, which is under Ministry of the Registrar General Office, right? And the instruments are there that you want to do so partnership as a foreigner. There are some steps that you have to go through, some requirements that you have to meet, or you want to do joint business with the Ghanaian, it is also possible. So yes, of course, registering business, either non-profit or for profit, or sole proprietorship or partnership, yes, the opportunity is there. Just that you would have to go through the Office of the Registrar of Companies, and then they are solely for registering all companies, and each area that or which kind of business that you want to embark on, they will have whatever is due for you to be able to register your company. Yeah.
And it seems like they are welcoming of African Americans having businesses in Ghana.
So that's what I'm saying. Even for me, for example, in my area, and by the time you go, I will see if I can talk to my paramount chief, Osiade, or His Royal Majesty Osiade Okwesi Akufu III. If the opportunity comes, then you can go there. I will see how it goes. There are a lot of opportunities when you want to develop, invest. Yes, in my area, for example, we are welcoming a lot. This year, the theme for our festival was ecotourism, right? So yes, the opportunities are there. So whatever that you want to do, and like I said, I'm here for you, for your team, anybody who wants to do investment. We are here to help, and we will collaborate effectively and make sure it gets done the right way.
I love that. When I was in Costa Rica at the beginning of 2020, I stayed in an eco lodge, which was really beautiful and sustainable and all of those things. So it seems like for countries that are thinking towards the future and being intelligent, they're thinking about things like, the ecosystem, right? Now, I have a question for you, though. And you don't know about this question.
That's fine.
So I was surprised when we planned this, the first trip. I was purposely looking for Black-owned properties for us to stay at in Ghana. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, we're in Africa. We still have to look for Black-owned properties. Can you talk about that a little bit? Or like most of the hotels European-owned, or do you know anything about that ownership?
Yeah, almost, if I should say, a lot of, let's say, 85% of the hotels are owned by Ghanaians or Black people. I can make mention of.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of them. We have a lot of them. So probably the ones around. We have a lot of them. Probably around let's say La Casta. La Casta was a city hotel, and then it changed hands through other investors, and now I think it's government, and I don't know the exact partners. Yeah, but we have a lot of hotels around the East Legon stretch and Tema, Accra that are owned by Ghanaians. So yes, definitely we have a lot of them there. Yeah.
Okay.
Even when you go to where I come from, and I would love that you at least a day, not a day, like an hour or two to Clyde Road. There are a lot of beautiful hotels there, and they are owned by Ghanaians. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll be able to make the journey to your neck of the woods. Now, the trick, though, was that you said it was 20 minutes when there's no traffic. And we've been in a crowd.
So
I don't think there was ever a time when there was no traffic.
Depending on where you will be, I don't know exactly where you will be, but we will work it out. So if
we stayed at Labadi Beach most of the time.
Labadi Beach. Okay, so Labadi Beach. Again, if you wake up in the morning, and I don't think you can leave around 7, but if 7 being the time that you leave, by 8 o'clock, you should be able to get to my area. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know my people. They're not leaving without breakfast.
I know.
I don't know if I can get them out at 8 o'clock. Maybe we'll try. Maybe one day we could try to get out at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. At least the person, the guy who is taking you. I mean, you can talk to him. We will see. We will see, and we will make arrangement and see how that works. Don't forget. Remember, I told you the gentleman who owns the properties said he wanted to see if on your last day coming or hosting you. So I will see how that goes, and if that comes to existence, then probably dynamics will shift and you can move around, because I know his properties are close to where I am. So let's see what happens. I'll contact him from next week and we will see.
Yes, we will definitely continue the conversation because we have a similar mission. You know, you want to develop Ghana, and I want to take Black people to Africa because I didn't know what I was missing.
Definitely.
So yeah, it was amazing. So I want to talk a little bit about cost of living. I know at one point my cousin told me she was renting a house for $400, but she was maybe an hour outside of Accra. So, and I don't know, and you know, what would you say coming between, I guess, New York and Ghana? What do you see as far as cost of living?
It depends. There are areas that are very, very expensive. That is East Legon, Owusu, that areas, they are very, very expensive. You even get some house, a whole house for $4,000, $2,000. But when you go to areas, some areas in Accra, you can even get something that is $200. And you live in a very wonderful area. You have all amenities and everything. So yes, it's true. Cost of living, depending on how. Yeah, it's out there. It's out there. For example,
it's $200 with good internet. I might be buying my ticket tomorrow.
So for example, right? We went to Ghana, and a friend of mine for a month, right? He got an Airbnb less than $1,000, and there was everything there, and it was at the in Accra. And he had everything, and he has 3 rooms, toilet, bath, kitchen, internet, light, washing machine, everything. And it was less than $1,000. I think it was $750 for the whole month, right? So it depends on where you want to stay and rent the house. I can testify that you can get a very nice area, $300, $400, $350. That will be a whole apartment. And you know, the light bills over there is also prepaid. So how you buy, how you can monitor it, you can manage it, and all that. When you buy a car, for example, let's say, so these are some of the things. You buy a car here, you'll be paying monthly. In Ghana, you buy a car, you register it, you get insurance for a whole year. And probably it is even less than $200 for the whole year. And you'll be driving back and forth. And electricity.
Okay, say it again.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you about transportation. So you said when you get a car, like if I want to buy a car in Ghana, because I saw people mostly renting either taxis to take them around, you know, having drivers take them around, or driving themselves. So if you want to say I go to Ghana and I want to stay for 4 months, let's say, and I decide, because I'm from Brooklyn, that I want to get a car and drive around as well. Right? So how would I do that? You're saying?
Yeah, we have rentals. We have people who rent cars, and you can rent a car. And depending on the kind of car, it depends on the car. As a matter, I don't want to give wrong guesses.
A regular car, not a fancy car.
So
I drive a Beetle. I drive a small compact car. It's very cute.
So you can get a car that you will drive a day, that you pay, like, let's say $30, $40. It depends on the car, right?
For a day, for one day?
Yeah, for a day.
Well, that's not inexpensive to me. That sounds like regular car rental.
I mean, for, like I say, depending on the kind of car that you use.
Well, suppose I want to buy a car or something, or get a monthly car.
If you want to buy a car, I don't know how much cars are costing now, but let's say you want to buy, let's say, Infinity. Probably you can get it for $25,000 or something like that.
Okay. And so it's a regular. So car sounds pretty.
Yeah, because the clearance, right? The charge on on how to clear the car is what makes it expensive, right? Other than that, I mean, it's very, very affordable. That's what I would say. So, and that's why you see a lot of people owning cars in Ghana, right? Here you see the public transport is small. We don't have good train system down there, and the public transport is not. People do more. We have more private or rented transportation than the public, so than the state. So that is the difference. But I would say, hypothetically, all things being equal, cost of living, I would say it's moderate. It's moderate. Because if I change, if you change $100, right, which is now in Ghana is let's say 1,200, right? And you go to a restaurant and you're gonna use, let's say, $2 for a food, right? Or let's say $5 for a food. And 3 square meals, you can use, let's say, $20 or $30 for a square meal. So, yeah.
Yeah, I found it to be very economical, like buying
very,
food.
very,
Of course, we talked about the clothing at the beginning, buying my beautiful dress, among other things. So if you're listening to audio, for our listeners who are going to listen later, if you're listening to audio, you might have to go to the video to look for the dress. But yeah, I found it to be quite affordable. So I want to thank you for all that wonderful information. And then I want to see if anybody has any questions. So if you guys have questions for Chief Alpha Omega Owusu, you can go ahead and raise your hand. You can either raise your hand like this if I can see you, or you can click the reaction button and you will see a prompt that comes up where you can raise your hand. All right. I see my friend Willie there. I don't know if he's raising just for himself or for both of you here. I'm asking you to unmute. There you go.
Yeah.
You have a question for us?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to say to the chief that thank you for that wonderful information. You know, we went to Ghana on a soul healing retreat with Trish, and it was a life-changing experience. And so we love Ghana, and so we're looking forward to going back.
Right. That's great. Thank you for letting us know. Yeah, that's a very good positive compliment right there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And you know, I am as well. So I am still high on Ghana. And if you see me look, okay.
And anybody who wants to embark on any business and all that, you can talk to Trish and she will talk to me and we will make things happen the right way, and you will not regret it. I mean, use this opportunity as a chief that are in my area, out of my area. I was talking to her and I told Trish that we even have this cement factory that we want to embark on. All right. So there are a lot of investment, a lot of business opportunities out there. So talk to Trish and we will see how we can collaborate and do that in future.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to.
I love to make the connection for people that Ghana has only had its independence for, I want to say, is it 56 years? 56.
Yeah, I think 60 something.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
That. Let's say it's 60.
It's 60 something, yeah.
Let's say it's 60 years. So if you think of the United States when it was 60 years old, right? That would have been the 1800s. And that was the time when, you know, all of these old money businesses were being started because the country was new.
Yeah.
Right. And like, even when we went to Ghana, one of the first things I saw was, I said, man, these roads, some of these roads, I don't know, you know, but they haven't had the infrastructure that we didn't get into in this country. I want to say they did the road system in the 30s or something like that, you know, but they were far more than 60 years old when we got our national highway system. So I like thinking of it as it's a young country with a lot of opportunities versus a more mature country where a lot of things have already been snatched up by people who were there earlier.
Yeah, so Ghana is 66 years after independence now.
Okay, so I got one of the numbers right. I said 56, so it's 66.
Yeah, 66 years, yeah.
So before we wrap up, well, first let me see, does anyone else have a question or a comment before I give our Chief Alpha one more word? And forgive my notes. Usually I have paper notes, but my printer's not working. So I'm trying to look at my notes scrolling on this. And you know how the screen keeps collapsing and then I have to tap it to try to make it. But I do want to give you a shout out with your proper non-government chief name before we leave. Sandra, I see you unmuted. Did you have a question?
Yes, I wanted to thank the chief also for the presentation. It was very interesting. I too I'm going to be going on the Ghana trip this year with Trish, and so looking forward to it. Ghana has been on my list forever, and I just can't wait to get there. So I'm really looking forward to that. And so I don't know if this is going to take too long. You can not answer it, but I was interested. A couple of years ago, there was a program called Year of the Return. And I was wondering if that was still in existence, because I think they were giving free citizenship to African Americans that come there. So I don't know if that's still an initiative.
Yeah, I am not sure. I can find out and get back to you with that information. Yeah, I can find out, but I'm not sure if it's a program that is still there. I can find out and get back to you with that.
No problem.
I will give the information, the feedback to Trish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you
that's
know
a great
someone?
question.
Sorry. Do you know someone named Y-A-W Owusu?
No, it's so one thing about Ghana is these names, for example, Ya is a name given to somebody who was born on Thursday. Ya is given to a lot of Ghanaians. They are named by the day, right? You have your clan name, meaning your tribal name, your tribe name. Whether usually we take the name of our fathers. So for example, if your father is called Owusu, then you were born on Thursday, a boy, a man, a male, you'll be called Yao. Y-A-W. So a female will be called Ya, that is Y-A-A. Then the Owusu will be probably the name, the surname of the father, or if she marries and she will take the name Owusu. So the person in the house, everybody will be calling Ya. It is the day that he was born. For example, me, I was born in Tuesday, so I'm called Kwabna. So whoever was born on Thursday will be Friday will be called Kofi. So you might hear the name like that, and it will look like we know each other. And also, the accounts have similar names like Owusu, Ado. Those names are very, very, familiar to all these accounts. Yeah, so that is how it is. So the person might come from the Ashanti region, might be called Owusu, might come from the Akuapem Eastern region, will be called Owusu. So that is how it is.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you will get your very own name, Sandra. In the name
I heard. I'm looking
there.
forward. I got to find out what day I was born. I think it was Monday. But looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
It's easy. You can Google now. It'll come right up.
Oh yeah, you did say that
I
before.
still have my bracelet.
Yeah.
My bracelet with my name. It's Adaku. So it's Adaku. Is how you say that? Adaku.
A-D.
A-K-U.
Akuya?
No, Atre.
No.
You said Akuya?
Yeah.
No, it's a
hold on.
it's a
Hold
D.
on. The spelling again, hold on. I'm
Yeah,
not
you know
getting
what? I'm
this.
gonna do this for fun. Wait a minute. I'm gonna rename myself.
It's
Can I do that?
AD.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you right now.
Okay.
I should leave this on for all my future meetings. They're gonna be like, what? So you see it now, right?
Yeah, no, I don't see it. Where is it?
Can you
send
see
it
my
where-
picture?
Oh, okay. Na Adaku. Oh, okay. Na Adaku. So that is a Ghan name. Na Adaku. So I would have to look for the meaning of Adaku and see. Na, you
Oh,
see,
okay.
like I was saying, na, when they say na in Ghana, they're trying to acclaim you of importance. Na, yeah.
So like in the US, we say put some respect on my name. So
Yeah.
that's what not is. They
Correct.
put some respect on my name. All right, so I wanted to share one more thing with you guys. I interviewed my cousin Sherry last year in an episode called Finding Freedom on Foreign Ground, and that's in the Mind Blowing Happiness podcast. So if you haven't seen it, or listened to it and you're interested in the topic, it's a good episode to check out as well. And if you come to Ghana with us next year, you'll also have the opportunity to meet Sherry in person. She's from New York, like me. And who knows, if me and Chief Alpha keep talking, you never know. Maybe he'll be there when we get there. We'll see how that goes. I do want to say your chief name properly one more time before I let you go. So Nana Kwabena Mensa, thank you so much for taking this time with us.
Yeah.
And any parting words?
And before we go, so to your surprise, your name, the meaning of your name means a child that brings wealth. A child that brings wealth. That is the meaning of Adaku, your name, the one that they give you. So they saying you are a princess that brings wealth. So that is the meaning of your name. So thank you very much for giving.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to have this wonderful episode. I would say Ghana is a very good place. The people are very, 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 very accommodating. So it will be very, very good in future whenever you want to embark on any business, any investment. I would say it's a place that you can do these things. When you do it and you do it the right way, find the right people, you will benefit, and you will not be the same on your retirement, on whatever, whether money, non-profit, you will never regret. Again, when you meet the people who are the right people. For example, me, for example, as I would say, through Trish, if you embark on something, you will never regret, and it will be something of a beneficial, something that you live to reap, and your ancestors, your siblings from grandchildren and all that can come and benefit. So once again, it was a privilege. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I hope in future we will meet again and we have this wonderful discussion. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope to live up to my name to bring wealth, not just financial wealth, but physical health, emotional wealth to my community here in the US and to my community in the motherland. And let me just close us out. I hope you all enjoyed this bonus episode of the Mind Blowing Happiness podcast. You can visit trishajelroberts.com to book a call with me and learn about my books, coaching, retreats, workshops, and keynotes for you and your organization. Let's turn fear into love.
Right.
Great.
All right.
Great.
All right. That's good.